Welcome to episode 100 of the Jaden Show. Amazing. I never thought I would get to 100 episodes. That's great. And here's to the next 100, meeting 100 more wonderful people, great artists, super talented and super lovely. I'm very excited to be with you today because I'm going to meet a super incredible guy. Again, he was on my 50th show and he promised that he would be here on my 100th show. And that boy did not let me down at all, as he has never done, quite frankly. His name is Emerson Newton-John, and we are going to go and chat to him. Let's go and meet, again, the incredible Emerson Newton-John, this week's very, very special guest. Emerson Newton-John, welcome again to the 100th, the Jaden Show. You kept your word, Governor.
I try, man. I try. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
No, thank you again. It'll be interesting to see what's happened in the last almost a year. I'm sure we've got a lot, but it was quite interesting. Before we started the interview, we were just talking about music and how you're very, very selective in your musical choices.
Yeah, I don't even know if the word is selective. I just rarely find anything I like.
If you had to, could you pinpoint a kind of vibe or genre? What would you normally veer to?
Oh boy, I think, and I don't even think this is fully accurate. I think it's way more nuanced than that. But I would say, I hate to use the silly word, alternative kind of psychedelic rock.
Oh, okay. So who would be one of your favorites of the past, or a couple of them?
Well, funnily enough, they've become really, really, really good friends of mine. Is a band called the Dandy Warhols.
Oh, do you know what? I think I have heard of them.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I discovered they've been around for about 10 years, but I somehow was late to the party. There's an Italian band that's of a similar genre to the Dandies called New Candies, which I think are fucking amazing, man.
Oh, sweet.
But I mean, that's just an example of like a weird band that I'll accidentally find through, I don't even know how, that I fall in love with. But then I ride this roller coaster. Like I'll find something that I go nuts about and I'll over listen to it for 6 to 12 months.
And you're done.
And then I still love them, but I just can't listen to it anymore. Like I've just worn it out.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And that seems to be what, like, I can't even listen to the Dandy Warhols anymore. I love them. I think they're one of the best bands ever, but I can't listen to it anymore.
You've saturated it a little bit.
Absolutely.
So you've got like 43 weeks a year in complete silence.
No, what I do is I listen to stuff that I just kind of like. Like, for example, an old Duran song will come on.
Yeah.
But it's not anything that like I'm really into. It's just cool.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to it, but I'm not into it.
No,
Does that make sense?
It's good to have, and it also, music is very much like a time machine as well. So it kind of, for that moment, it just kind of takes you back to the last time you heard.
Oh yeah,
maybe that was like
absolutely. I tend to do that too much. I get all caught up in shit from like a certain year. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could go back then.
Because I think the scary thing is, and I'm 50 now, and I'm kind of really, really feeling this now, is that I don't feel any fucking different.
No, I know, yeah.
What it does, like, it takes, like rigor mortis sets in on a 45-minute car journey now, which never used to happen before, and way too much of, tummy inflamed by all the foods I used to love. Now I'm like, oh my God, I can't eat anymore.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's also called living in Mexico.
Oh yeah, true that. But also, like, I'll listen to a song and I'm in that moment, like I'm 17 or 25 or 30.
Oh yeah.
And then I walk past the mirror and I'm like, fuck, like, where did my dad come from?
Yeah, I know it's cool, and it's actually a little depressing,
Interesting,
and
yeah.
sometimes it's sad though. Like you're like, oh man, if I only knew how good I had it then, or if I could have just known 10% of the things I know now, and I could have plugged them into that life, then
Absolutely.
god damn, things could have turned out better.
That's the mission of all of us, right? Like if
Yeah,
only
I know.
we knew then what we know now. And fortunately we got the wisdom and the experience of age, but we ain't got that beauty. I mean, we're doing quite well. I mean, for kind of our middle ages, but we
I think
don't
you're looking
have
great,
quite
man.
what's that?
I think you're looking great, buddy.
No, bless you. How old are you? Because you're way younger than me, aren't you?
No, no, no. I'm 48, soon to be 49.
Okay, so about a year and a half difference. Okay, but it's
Not even. I'll be. I have. I'll be 49 end of September, so pretty soon.
okay. Are you
Yep.
celebrating?
I mean,
Or
you'll have to ask.
wearing black and covering mirrors. That's how I celebrate my.
Nothing planned, dude. You'll have to ask my wife that one.
I better
No,
not,
no.
just in case it's a secret. And I'm really I get very excited by other people's secrets. So it's best that I just don't know anything, quite frankly. So what's been going on? I mean, obviously it's been quite an eventful, quite a turbulent year for you. What last time we spoke, you were in the process of a new cocktail drink. How is that going?
That's actually. I can't believe that was a year ago. We're only. I don't really know any other kind of descriptor, but we're only now at the stage of that where, as of about a week ago, we got to the point where we're now searching for what's basically called a development laboratory, which creates the product for you, right?
Okay.
So we had to do all the trademarking of the name and the logo, and all sorts of licensing things and all that kind of boring horseshit. But now that's all done, logo's done, renderings are done, and we're finally at the point now where we find a development outfit that we tell them, look, this is what we want, this is the flavor profile, blah blah blah. What we want it sugar free, we want it organic, we wanted this, we wanted that. They then charge you a fortune to then make that for you, and hopefully when it's all said and done, they come up with something that you really like, that you hope that your target audience will love too.
Wow, man, that's quite a big risk as well.
It's a huge undertaking. I mean, I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but I didn't realize that a year later we would only be at this stage of the game.
But it is moving forward. So this
Oh,
is
absolutely. Yeah, more so than ever. It's just
show, I'll be trying that drink.
I would like that. I was hoping that by now I'd have that for you, but it's a little slower than we had hoped. There's just a lot of stuff going on, so it's not like I'm dedicating, all daylight hours of the week to it.
No, it happens when.
But it's happening. It's happening.
So what else has been going on in the life of Mr. Newton-John in the last year? What's been going on for you?
Well, as of about 6 months ago, and I'm actually probably putting a bit more time into this than to the booze brand, maybe 50-50, is I am creating a racing team with a friend of mine who is big in the sport, who wants to expand his brands in racing. And we're starting up a team together, which will be in the world of sports car racing, which are kind of the cars that do, I guess in layman's terms, like the 24 hours of Le Mans or the 24 hours of Daytona.
Yeah.
Those types of cars.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on as well, and it's kind of cool because it'll kill two birds with one stone. I can rekindle my driving career.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, which is obviously for me, that's the biggest push. I won't lie. But also I'll have another business so that, when I get to the age where I can't race anymore, then I will focus on this team and, developing younger drivers and things like that.
That's really exciting, man. So when does it look like that's kind of coming in? I mean, I know it's in play now, but when does it look like you're going to get back behind the wheel?
We were hoping that, the first race of next year, which would be the 24 Hours of Daytona, would be where we could kick everything off. But I don't think we're going to make it to that. I think it'll be maybe the mid part of next year that we can officially get on track.
Wow, man, but that's super exciting stuff.
It's super exciting, but like everything else, it's all based on money. I mean, the entire thing is based on nothing but money. If the money was all in place, we would be on the track now. But that's okay. Everything has its hurdles that you have to jump over to make it work. And for racing, at least for me and most drivers, it's always been money. It costs millions.
It's everything, mate.
Yeah. It's everything except with racing. It's even more so because it's exponentially more expensive than almost anything else, unfortunately. So, you're looking at millions of dollars just to kind of get everything together as a team and then hit the track.
Mate, couldn't you have decided on something like fly fishing?
Oh, man, I joke about that. I wish. I wish. If I was smart, which I'm not, I would have carried on doing what I was doing before I started racing, which was racing mountain bikes.
Okay.
And I would have done that as a career, and I wouldn't have made millions of dollars, and I wouldn't have been a massive star like one becomes as a top driver. But you know what? All you need is talent. You don't need millions of dollars. You just need talent. And if you show talent, one of the bike manufacturers picks you up as a paid rider, and you travel the world, make a few $100,000, live a killer life.
It's not bad.
And that would have been a great gig.
It must be even more frustrating if you had that talent, but the whole money thing is not allowing you to express that.
Yeah, and that's what racing has and did cause me. I mean, all the talent needed, but none of the financial backing in place really to do it the way it should have been done. And then when I got to that last level where I was about to, get to IndyCar, there just wasn't the money for that. I didn't have the connections. Well, that's a whole nother story. I had the connections to the money to it, but let's just say those doors weren't opened.
How does that kind of, I mean, I know, like, as I've been singing for 32 years, still waiting to be an overnight success, still very committed to my art, how do you deal with that, knowing that you have the contacts, you have the talent, that's indisputable, but because it's, for me, I remember, like, people say, oh, when are you going to release an album? Oh, I can't wait to see you. When's your next gig? And you go and do a next gig and 3 people turn up, or you release an album and they're like, I'm going to get it. And then, like, how do you deal with that on a psychological level when everything is there, but people's words don't seem to match their faith within you?
Dude, I've been dealing with it for so long, I don't even think about it anymore. It's, racing's a tough sell. So, and I've always known that. It's a really tough sell. No exaggeration, 95% of racing drivers from the bottom level to Formula One come from massive amounts of money.
Wow, okay.
It's literally the only way to get there. You have to have a lot of money behind you to get to the point where you can potentially get, that elusive free ride, But even then, there's a lot of very famous, extremely talented drivers that are still bringing money to the teams. They don't have a free ride. At the top level.
Wow.
At the top level, there are drivers who are incredibly gifted, but for whatever reason, they are still required to bring a massive check with them every year to whatever team they're driving for. And look, on a business front, I guess it makes sense. I'm soon to be, hopefully, most likely a team owner. So maybe I'll see the other side of it now. Like, as a team owner, you're doing it not only for the love of the sport, but to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you run a car, let's say that it costs you $1 million for the year to run the car, all in. Well, when you have a driver coming in for the year, you don't say to that driver, "Oh, it costs me $1 million, just bring me $1 million."
Yeah.
You have them bring you $2 million, and a lot of times $3 or $4 million if the team is good enough.
Wow.
So there's a lot of profit to be made. So in the eyes and the mentality of a racing team owner, they think, well, if there's two drivers, one's really good and the other's really good, one has no money to bring, the other has millions to bring, who are you going to choose?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty simple. It's just business. But it's a grotesquely unfair sport.
Which you have been passionate and addicted to for many years now.
Yeah, and I don't like. Yeah.
It's really tough, man. And it's really tough that you can't. That money is the thing that, I get it completely, 100%. But it's tough as well when, like you said, there are extremely talented people whose only letdown is the fact that they can't bring that to the table.
Well, then there's the other side of it. The shitty side is then there's drivers who are pretty fucking average who have millions to bring. Yeah. And eventually they get decent or maybe good, but they're not naturally. I think just like anything, if you do anything long enough, you'll be okay at it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a money sport. The cars cost millions, the parts cost millions. You have a crew of people that get paid a lot of money. There are an outrageous amount of costs, and they're all exorbitant. So I picked the worst sport possible.
But you're still doing it, and here's to the future of this.
I'm not still doing it. I've been spending the last million years trying to start doing it again. Yeah. So I'm getting closer. It's funny though, because I keep getting older, yet getting closer to rekindling the dream. Right? It's a strange thing. But I think I told you last time we spoke that, like I'm envious of people like you or say basketball players or just whatever it is. You can practice what you do literally every day, all day.
In the shower, yeah.
In the shower, in the car, whatever the fuck you are, you can do it. I literally have not seen the inside of a racing car since 2015.
That's crazy, man.
Before that, I hadn't seen one since 2012.
Wow.
So when I do get back in a car, hopefully the plan is to get me back in the car in the next couple of months to practice. Mm-hmm. That will be the first time I've been in a car in a very, very, very long time. Yeah. So it's a strange cycle that I'm on. It's like it averages about every 6 to 8 years. I get back in a car, then I'm out again for 6 to 8 years, and then I'm back in again 6 to 8 years later. Yeah, it's not supposed to be that way. That's
got to be psychologically screwing, man.
Well, it's, the shitty part about it is I can handle it. What's psychologically difficult is that people don't think it's possible, and I prove them wrong every time. It's like, oh, the guy hasn't driven in 10 years, or he hasn't driven in 5 years, he hasn't driven in 8 years. There's no way in hell that he's going to be quick still. Or for him to be able to be quick again, he's going to need days, weeks of practice. Nope, I don't have the budget for that. I have to figure out how to be quick literally.
In the moment.
Yeah. And immediately, like in 20 laps.
Yeah, wow, man.
Yeah.
I guess like you said, that's, like the difference between people where it's their natural gift and people that pay to have that gift and kind of construct that kind of gift over a matter of time, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a cool thing that gives me confidence, but at the same time, I'd rather it be the other way. That's okay.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So you're going to have a team. How many people are normally in a team? Because I'm thinking 15 drivers, but now I'm hearing expenses. I'm thinking probably like 1.5.
Well, for this is considered endurance racing, so there's more than one driver in the car. The races range from, depending on the category, the races range from 4 to 24 hours. So, in a 4-hour race, which would be considered a sprint race, there'll be a couple of drivers. In 6 to 12-hour race, there'll be 3 to 4 drivers, and then in a 24-hour race, there'll definitely be 4 drivers in the car.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's splitting up, depending on speed, their personal speed, and then their stamina, and the strategy of the team, and how you end up doing in that particular race as it unfolds. Everyone will usually do an hour or 2 stint each.
Wow, so that's quite an intense thing, really.
Yeah, but I mean the amount of people that you have to hire to run that show, that's a lot of where the expense goes as well.
Yeah. Wow.
It's really expensive, man.
What I mean, I'm guessing you've moved now from the last place you're at, wasn't you?
No,
you're still there, really.
Yeah, I wish. We had hoped to have moved by now and been fully settled in the new place, but we put the house on the market for 3 months. Really didn't get any bites. I'll leave my opinion on that out.
Okay.
So we released the agent. We took the house off the market. We're going to ride the miserable 190 million degree summer out.
I don't know how you.
And then I think early October, after shopping for a new agent, a proper one, we'll put the house back on the market.
So then hopefully by next year you'll be in. What kind of climb do you want to go to? Because I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm suffering here in just about 100. The humidity is killing my ass, man. But I don't. What kind of climb are you looking for?
Well, we're moving not really where we're. I don't want. No, that's not fair to say. We're moving. Well, we're going to like where we're moving, but we're also moving slightly out of necessity based on my wife's mother being a bit old.
Okay.
So, don't get me wrong, she's not dying or anything,
no.
But, she's 70 something and not in greatest health. So, my wife's like, hey, so that I don't have to fly across the country every couple of months, which is miserable. Can we move back to the other side of the country until, she's no longer around, basically. And then after that, we'll go wherever you want to go. So I thought, all right, happy wife, happy life. We'll do what we need to do here. But we're going
back to Texas.
No, God, Texas, no. God, that's not a place I think I would ever want to live. No, we're going to end up in northern Virginia by DC.
Okay, so it's quite a fresh climate there, isn't it?
It's, it has all 4 seasons, unlike here, which has either not hot or insanely hot.
Yeah, no, we have 2, hot and fucking hot.
Yeah, that's the seasons here. And nothing visually looks any different because cactuses don't shed.
Yeah.
Nothing here looks like you could come into Arizona and not have been here for a year and no one told you what time of year it was, and you could come in and if someone said, okay, you have to guess what month it is, you literally would have no visual cue as to what month it is. You would have to be an expert on Arizonian landscape to know what actually the time of year. Yeah, I can't do it, man.
No, I'm too British. Like I say, I live just south of Cancun, and there are small, minuscule changes to the seasons,
Right.
But really, like, I need mountains, I need forests, I need leaves dropping, I need a mist every now and then. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to go back to England. Like, that's a little bit too miserable, I think.
Yeah.
But just somewhere.
Well, you know what's funny, man? We're actually, and I, don't quote me on it yet, but we're actually considering half of the year moving to England.
Okay.
Reason being, I know you're probably like, what? Why on earth would he make such a terrible decision?
That's great.
No, here's why. So this wouldn't happen anytime soon. This would happen, when we're
down the line,
when we no longer need to live in the States. So let's say 3 to 7 years from now. The beauty of England is that I'm a British citizen like you, so I can just go there. It's easy. Yeah. I'm on a British passport. I'm on a green card here, so I'm not. It's easy for me to get in. But what I like about England too is you're right there next to Europe.
Yeah.
So you can piss off to Paris
absolutely
within an hour.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing.
Yeah. No, completely.
And I just kind of feel like, as I only speak one language, which is embarrassing. It's shameful, really. But as I only speak one language, and I'm almost 49 years old, going and living in another European country and trying to learn that language at 48 would be really difficult. Especially, all about it, right? But you've succeeded clearly.
Well, I've succeeded as long as we don't have to talk about what happened yesterday and what might happen tomorrow. If I can keep it present tense,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can kind of. I would probably say that 60% of my conversation now is in really shit Spanish, but
that's okay.
But I don't find. I mean, thanks to Duolingo on my phone. I mean, that's the only thing that's kind of keeping me. I'm learning 2 words a week more. I just slip into my little conversation in English, like I'm going to shop to get 2 manzanas in it. Like that's kind of how I'm rolling now. But England, I found it really fascinating that the journey from Mexico City to Cancun is not too dissimilar from the journey from London to Barcelona.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it really is.
Okay.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. England. I mean, I have some love for England. I mean, I was born there. I left when I was 3 to Los Angeles, but my dad stayed the whole time, so I would go to England every summer, the entire summer, from the time I was 4 until 17. So I mean, I know England well. It really was like a second home, and my dad never left. I've raced a lot there in the 90s. And to be quite frank, not all of England, of course. I mean, there's a lot of awful parts of England, just like there are awful parts of any country that I would never want to go to. But I mean, overall, England just has, for me, just a bit more to offer for what I would like in life at this stage in my life versus America.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've lived here for 7 years. I've never felt at home. 8 years.
No.
Never.
Yeah, I don't feel at home in America. And listen to me. I couldn't sound more California. But and I'm not saying I would feel at home in England, but I just feel like maybe between the two combined, I could have some sense of home.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
I just don't like the mentality of your average American. I don't understand. And we won't bother getting into that. But, where I feel kind of at home is where I don't want to live anymore, and that's Los Angeles. I mean, I'm an LA guy, and when I am in LA, I feel kind of like I'm at home, even though it's been 20 years since I've lived there. But the thought of LA feels like home, if that makes any sense.
Okay, but when you get there, it doesn't feel that.
It's not that it doesn't. It just doesn't feel like it did when I lived there. It definitely doesn't feel like that. But, LA is also not the place it was when I was a kid.
No, of course.
LA in the 80s and the 90s, up until probably, I don't know, arguably the early 2000s, was like the coolest place, in my opinion, in America. Mm-hmm. It was just cool. It was eclectic. It was open-minded. It had all the shit that worked for me. Mm-hmm. Now, it's really not cool. It's not cool. It's absolutely filthy. Wow. It's a really filthy place now.
Do you think this is also an age thing as well? Because my mum came to visit me for the first time in the 7-8 years that I've been here. Mm-hmm. And she was saying, I really wasn't happy when you said you were going to leave England. Like, she was really like anti me moving to Mexico. But then she said, the England that because I was getting very homesick, even though I didn't really, like, it wasn't like I was missing London, but I was missing, all of a sudden, like, I'm, can't stop watching the Queen's death thing, and I'm, fixated by everything London. Like, my studio here is called the London Room. So I was like, I kind of needed to feel kind of that little bit connected.
Connection,
But my mum said in the last 8 years, she goes, the England that you think you would come back to is nowhere near the England that you left.
That's exactly LA, man. Every time I go home, I'm like, shit, this keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And what's weird about LA, unlike London, although there is this in it, LA, there's so few indigenous LA people who are raised in LA. Mm-hmm. Everyone you meet when you come to LA is not from LA. Right. They're all what I call out-of-staters. Right. And I'm not shitting on out-of-staters, like, all good. But, I mean, technically, I'm an out-of-countryer who came to LA, but I did it when I was 3. So, I was really raised in that place. I don't know. It just kind of feels like kind of the cool LA. Yeah. Like, all the cool LA people of the past are either dead or gone. Yeah.
This is an old age thing, mate.
There's that too. Yeah. There's that too. So I like this. It sounds great. Like, LA in theory is the best place for me. Mm-hmm. But I would move back to LA if I could afford to live in Malibu.
Okay. Has that kind of stayed pretty constant then?
Malibu's changed a bit, but it's still Malibu enough where I would be okay with what has changed. But I mean, Malibu literally starts at $5 or $6 million. Wow. That's where it begins. And that's not anything great. Like, that doesn't get you anywhere near the water.
Raw, man.
That gets you way back up in the hill. And again, nothing wrong with being up in the hills in Malibu. I mean, I spent years of my childhood in the hills of Malibu, and it's a wonderful place. I would love to move back there. But my point is, just to kind of enter Malibu in a house that you would really like and was big enough for what you needed and had all the things that you were used to, say, that you moved away from in another state where it was affordable, that now is going to cost you $6, $7, $8, $9 million.
Well, man, that's intense.
It's insane. So I'm working.
Expensive sport on the planet as well.
Yeah, I know. There's something wrong with me.
Dude.
But hey, it's okay. If I never make enough money to move, back to Malibu, where I was raised most of my childhood, I'll survive. Malibu's more like a dreamy type of relocation than something that is, everyone's reality. I'm trying to make it my reality, but hey, it may not be, and that's totally okay.
I'm sure there's some lovely Airbnbs that you can go and visit when you're living in the southwest of England.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't even know what part of England I would live. I think that my wife and I have talked, like, if we were to move to England half the time, because it would definitely not be more than half the time, and it would not be during the winter, that's for sure. No, it would be spring and summer. Yeah. I'd want to be no more than an hour from London.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Sorry.
So what? Sorry? Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, when that time comes, I will message you and say, all right, what places do we need to look at?
Yeah, you've got Surrey, High Wycombe, you've got loads of different areas that are kind of just down the M25 or down one of the motorways, down the M4 or something like that. And yeah, you can
Yeah.
kind of access it quite quickly, or there's a nice train that goes directly in and stuff. Yeah. But
Okay.
Surrey's lovely. It's really, really beautiful. And if you're going Surrey way, you're actually not too far from Sussex, which is the coast as well.
Yeah. So I don't mind living in kind of semi-country in England. Like there's nothing more beautiful than British countryside. It's amazing.
It's stunning, mate. Stunning.
It's stunning. And my dad had the most amazing place.
He was in the West Country, right? Yeah, he was in Somerset.
He was in Somerset. And he was right on the edge of the Heather Moorlands.
Wow, okay. Beautiful.
And that was just, but the downside to that is it was too remote. It was just too remote.
But that's I live Somerset and going into Devon. And I live literally on the edge of Exmoor, which I think is where
that's where he lived.
Where your dad lived as well. I lived right on the edge of Exmoor until the snows hit, which we didn't get often, but when we had it, and I was like, shit, I've got 3 logs left. I've got 2 dogs. I've got 50 pence left on my meter. It's 9 miles to the nearest shop downhill of Exmoor, and I'm on my own. Like, it would take me probably 5 hours to walk there in the snow. Oh man, I've got to go back to London. Like, I can't do this on my own anymore.
No, Exmoor is stunning. I had so many good summers there. But yeah, that's it's too far from London.
Yeah.
And it's just too remote.
Yeah, sorry, I think's for you, mate.
You think so? Okay. I'm gonna write that down, and when we're done, I'm gonna get on whatever what's the name of the, like, here we have Zillow and Trulia and realestate.com. What's the big one in England called?
I have no idea, man. But you've
been gone.
Yeah, I've been gone for a while. But let me do a little bit of research, and I can ask a few contacts that I've got, like me mum.
All right. I'm literally gonna write this down because I'll forget to ask you. So Surrey, and what was the other one?
Surrey's good. High Wycombe's nice, all that kind of area. The Wycombes. But Lee, I'll do a little bit of investigation on Google Maps later, and I'll look at some nice places around that are like an hour and a bit away from London. But leave that with me.
Thanks, dude.
That'd be lovely.
And when you go north, south, east, well, you can't go very south, but what direction would be best? Kind of west?
Well, I'm from West London, which is southeast England, so I will kind of stay. I kind of like, kind of southwest.
Yeah. So towards Somerset.
Yeah, or down to that coast where you got Brighton, Bournemouth, all the way into Dorset and all that way. It's really beautiful, beautiful areas. But it's really interesting. If you are somebody that's from North London, they will always say, "No, you want to go north and a little bit above north." So I think I'm a West London boy from the southeast, so we kind of stick to what we know. But North London and South and West London and all the areas for me around that area are the best.
Okay.
So but I'll do a little bit of research. I'll drop you a line and let you know some nice places. I'm on that.
Thank you, buddy.
So when you're not releasing new alcohol brands and creating $1 million racing teams, what do you kick back and do, man?
Well,
not music, obviously.
Well, no, I'm always listening to music in the car, always, and always when I'm at the gym. It's just I keep listening to the same playlist over and over, and I'll slowly delete, then I'll add some more, and then delete and add some more. But man, honestly, I've got so much time now involved in these 2 projects. When I'm not, actively working on those, and when it's not 4,000 degrees, I'm a pretty hardcore mountain biker still.
Okay.
I'm at the gym 5 to 6 days a week. I don't enjoy that at all. I just do it because I want to keep looking the way that I have since I was 18. That's literally why. And there is a little bit of it too. You know, I'm glad that I never have kind of relaxed on the training, because now I'm just as ready to get back in a racing car as I was 30 years ago.
Yeah, see, that's amazing. I respect, mate, to you completely, because this is why my Jaden show is only from here up. Because from here down, it's like Winnie the fucking Pooh. Like, I don't know what's happened after so many. And also, I found it really. I went to the doctors just before I left for Mexico, because I had this thing on my nose. And when I was a pop star in the 90s, I was always under sunbeds, always, kind of, vain and everything. And I said I was a little bit worried because, like, I've got a blemish here and I didn't want it to be skin cancer. She's like, no, you're okay. It's just. And I went, and I've got these discolorations now on my. She went, no, that's fine. It's just aging. I was, and now I don't like things that I used to like when I was in my 30s, and now I crave for olives, and I couldn't even. I said, "What's happening to me?" She went, "You're getting older." I said, "I've never done it before." Yeah. Like, I've never enjoyed the gym in my life. I used to go.
I hate it.
Yeah, really don't.
No, like it. Dude, going to the gym is literally not much different than taking a shower. It's just part of what I do in a day. And I have never not done it since I was 18.
That's amazing, man.
I mean, that's a long time.
Well, it's a good few years. I used to sit in my car in the car park of a gym, and I was like, I can't today. It felt like going into school detention. That's what it felt like for me.
No, I mean, I'm going today, and I'm already thinking like, oh, fuck, man. I just want to eat and not go outside. Even just walking from the garage door in the garage to my car, it's probably 106 in the garage.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do that, but unfortunately, there's no way around it. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I stop doing it and I kind of just let myself go, I think it would be a mental fuck for me.
You'd get over it. I have. It's fun.
I won't. No, but I won't. But here's why I won't. Because I've never not done it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get you.
So if I started to see like, oh shit, I don't look like I did, but I could. If I started seeing changes, but those changes were not because of age, they're because I started to be lazy. I would just instantly get right back into it.
Yeah. No, I've started intermittent fasting now. That's my new thing.
Oh, dude, it's the fucking best thing in the world. I'll tell me about it. Tell me about your experience, and I'll tell you about mine.
Well, I've got an autoimmune disease, which was any allergen back probably 4 years ago. So heavily allergic to grass, palms, leaves, dust, mosquitoes, cats and dogs. Have 26 cats and dogs. Live in the jungle with shitloads of plants, palms, grasses, mosquitoes.
No, perfect for you.
Yeah, so I'm completely allergic to being me. And so any random allergen that I wasn't kind of happy with would send me into anaphylactic shock. So my tongue would swell, and I, have 3 minutes to inject myself, blah, blah, blah. Right, which only happened in my mid-40s. Never happened when I was younger. Always quite a healthy kid, but give or take a bit of hay fever, but nothing too bad. And then I started, like, basically my doc went to go through so many, like, the hospital tropical diseases, a specialist here in Cancun, a specialist in London. And they said, your immune system's fucked. It's like, we don't know why, we can't explain it, what you have. It was like my skin felt I was being tattooed 18 hours a day. Like, it was exhausting. And I did a 7-day fast, which nearly killed me, but it was really hard work. And then I went into intermittent fasting from then onwards. Yeah. Once a week, I would do a 24-hour, and every 3 months, I would do a 48-hour fast. I lost a lot of weight. I still had a lot of the symptoms, but they weren't as intense as they were before. I was sleeping better. I wasn't having, there's nothing worse than being allergic to yourself and then also feeling nauseous and, having inflammation and having acid and all the beautiful things that age brings as well. I've lost count of the days I get bloody stomach acid. Like, what's that about, man? I only had a biscuit. It's fucking crazy, So then I didn't do it because I got myself to a stage where I felt better, So I'm back to the old routine. And then in the last couple of months, literally I would cane like a box of antacids, whatever they're called, I can't remember what they're called, antiacidos, like a box of antacid tablets every single 3 days, always drinking bicarb because the antacids aren't curbing the acid. And I'm like, right, man, I can't do this, always tired. So I started doing intermittent fasting, the 8-12 or 8-12, right?
Well, mine is 16 off, 8 on.
16, 8. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, dude. I started it about 3 months ago, and it went from, let me try this. I know I can't do it. There's no way in hell I can do this. I have probably only not fasted 2 or 3 days since I started.
Amazing, man.
It's now so easy. I haven't eaten yet. It's now 12:20.
Wow.
And I haven't eaten since 7:30 last night.
That's amazing, dude.
But once you get past like week 2, it becomes really easy. Yeah. There's points now where I'm like, oh shit, I haven't even eaten yet. I need to go eat. It's not because I really want to. Yeah. I need to, because I have to still put in
3 hours left.
Well, yeah, there's that, but there's also the fact that I work out so hard, I have to eat a lot.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Man. So it's if you combine intermittent fasting, and then I haven't done the 24-hour yet. I'm going to start implementing that into my routine. But if you eat right and you intermittent fast and you work out, chances are you'll probably do yourself some good.
No, absolutely. And Phil, and I think a lot of it's about not just how you feel, like you said, like especially when you get older, I keep seeing me how I saw myself in my late 20s and early 30s, and then I just signed a record deal for one single, just released a new single in the UK and other places, and the guy said, could you put a video together? I'm like, well, I've got no money, but I'll put a little video together. So my friend of mine, she's a great photographer, she'd done some videos, and I kind of just used my my iMovie to piece something together. And I watched it and I was like, shit, why is my dad singing, man? Like, what the fuck is that about? Because I was thinking, I'm singing, I'm back 24 again in my pop group, and I was like, raw, I've got to be losing some weight, and I don't know if my intermittent fasting is going to help with Botox, but I need to be trying to.
No, it will. It will. How long have you been doing it?
About 2 months. No, coming up to 2 months now.
And how many days a week?
Every day of the week.
Okay. If you have you not seen a dramatic change?
I feel it. I've not touched an anti-acid tablet in that time, funnily enough, which is bizarre.
Well, that's dramatic.
That is huge. Absolutely huge.
But like physically on your waist, have you not seen a dramatic change?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It works, dude.
Yeah. It's amazing. I've got a friend of mine in the UK, and she was really nervous when she went into COVID. She was quite a large size, and she smoked a lot, I think, as well. And she was really worried about, the COVID affecting, being a respiratory disease. And she was like, well, I'm completely overweight. And she started intermittent fasting. That girl looks like a supermodel. Like, she's gone from, quite a chunky mama to absolutely beautiful. Not only did she lose weight and look great, but then she looked great. So she would start investing, like she would go and get her hair done and, false eyelashes. And she looks beautiful because she feels that she's beautiful now, which is, there's been many times where I've just been like, oh, you know what, fuck it, man. I look a state.
Well, look, the science of fat, not just intermittent fasting, but the science of fasting is, indisputable. And fasting has been going on for thousands of years in human history for a reason. Mm-hmm. Sure, a lot of it was like religious bullshit, but it ended up being extremely healthy.
Completely.
And things like your test, if you're not young anymore and your testosterone levels drop, which obviously they do, at after 30, 40, and then 50, forget about it. It does help to bring them up a bit.
Yeah.
And there's just as far as like reducing inflammation, there's just so many benefits to fasting. If everyone fasted, the world would be a much healthier place.
Yeah, no, completely, mate. Completely.
But the problem with it is it's so alien to how most people eat that they wouldn't dream of even trying it. And if they did try it, they'd be like, oh, fuck this in a day.
Yeah. See,
95% of people would not be able to continue doing it.
Yeah, no, I believe it's difficult for me sometimes because I sing. So I'm finishing my set at like 9-10 o'clock at night, and then I will get something to eat because I'm singing in a restaurant or a hotel or wherever I'm singing.
Right.
But then I would normally think, well, I didn't want to feel bloated before I started the show at 7. So now it's 9-10 o'clock. And
now it's over. I can do what I want. Yeah.
And now I can't.
Yeah.
Now I've got to wait because I couldn't get my sandwich in before I left. So now I've got to wait. So that was my biggest thing, was like, I am starving. By the time I've done a 3-hour set, I just want to eat anything that I'm offered, mate. I would eat a human leg at this point, so.
I'll tell you one thing though, if you are performing and you're in a fasted state and you've hit ketosis, I'm sure you know all about ketosis, right? If you add, I wouldn't call it rigorous exercise, but I mean, when you're performing, you're exercising, you're sweating
afterwards. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So if you add that to what you're doing with the fasting and you're in a state of ketosis, you're even adding to the fat burn.
Absolutely.
So if you can just say, no, don't give in, and you can like get home, go to sleep, and then eat, when it's whatever the time. Yeah. Then you've really what I've been doing now is I'm actually starting to a few days a week go to the gym before I've hit my eating time.
Mate, I want to be you when I grow down. That's something.
It's tough, man, but I mean, I don't have any lack of energy because when you've done this for a few months, like you have energy. Your body is using fat as energy, where before it had all of this sucrose to use as energy. So you never got into the fat because you had enough sugar to feed your body with sugar. But totally forgot the most important reason why everyone should fast. It's the best thing to do to starve cancer cells.
Absolutely.
The number one thing you can do to starve cancer cells is not give them sugar.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not talking about white refined sugar. I'm talking about any type of food that breaks down into sucrose. Mm-hmm. Cancer cells can't live off of fat.
No.
They live off of sugar. So if they don't have sugar, what happens to them? They slowly start to die off.
Yeah. So has it changed your diet as well? Were you a really, really good eater?
That's the thing.
That's the fasting.
I was an amazing eater before I started doing this.
And now you just like roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. Like I want everything.
No. The opposite.
Oh, really?
I'm just as strict. Nothing's changed. I ate ridiculously well before I started fasting, and then I eat, I think, even better now with the fasting because I'm just in this state of like, if I can go through this life without being diagnosed with cancer, I've had a great life.
Yeah.
It's so easy now due to environmental toxins and food and just the shit that we surround ourselves with to be diagnosed with cancer, even if we do or do not have a genetic predisposition. Yeah. So I'm just trying to do everything I can to not be diagnosed with cancer. Don't get me wrong, I'm not focusing on it because that'll give you cancer, but it's definitely in my mind.
Well, to have a healthier lifestyle, absolutely. Why?
Yeah. What else can I do to not be a statistic of cancer? And as you know, it's in my family on my mom. It's not on my dad's side at all. Wow. It's all on my mother's side.
Well, it's opposite for me. It's all on my father's side. My dad was dead before 50, and but on my mother's side, it isn't.
Okay.
Which is quite interesting. Yeah, but also as well, I think, we don't know when we're in that queue.
No.
So I don't want to be in that queue, bloated, full of acid, feeling like shit, with no energy, and having to wear an extra large T-shirt because I can't get into my mediums anymore.
Well, there's this too. Think about this. If one is to be diagnosed with any type of cancer, obviously some are far worse than others as far as chances of survival. If you are in a really, really healthy state, if you are to be diagnosed, you have exponentially better chance of beating it if you're healthy when diagnosed or if diagnosed. So for me, there's just no reason not to do everything that I can do.
No, so
there's the racing component of it. There's my fucking vanity. I'm not going to lie. But the more important thing is just, trying to be as healthy as I can. I don't want to, I don't want to fall to shit prematurely.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of thinking, I just really don't want to be, like in, another 10, 15 years time, I still want to be able to get a carrier bag out the bottom cupboard and not need my partner to support me to straighten up afterwards.
That too. That too.
That's my motivation.
Yeah, there's a million reasons, but another good thing too, I think I get obsessive on this health thing, but I was having a lot of lower back issues because my T5 or I don't know, one of the vertebra right above the sacrum, the final vertebra of mine, I have no disc left. It's just eroded.
What's that? Is that an accident or genetics?
It's from racing accidents and just, the gym and mountain biking and just all the silly things I've done over my lifetime. And there's no way to fix it other than surgery, which, they say surgery is the chances of it working are only about 50-50 anyway for that type of injury, and it can be worse. So through a little bit of research, I discovered inversion. You know what that is?
No, tell me.
So it's where you, on a special machine, you flip yourself fully upside down.
Yeah. And
you hang for 5 or 6 minutes fully upside down, and you elongate your spine. You open everything up. And it has absolutely and utterly fixed my lower back issue after the first time using it.
Really?
It's fucking amazing, dude.
And that literally just hanging upside down for a few minutes.
Literally hanging up. I'll send you a link later. Yeah, it's the best you can. There's all sorts of knockoff ones on Amazon, but the original one is called the Teeter. Tetter. The Teeter. Mm-hmm. And it's like lying on a plank, and it rotates. And you just lock yourself into position. You hang upside down for 5 or 6 minutes, and it has an incredible array of health benefits far beyond just opening up your vertebra.
Wow, man! Do you do things like yoga and stuff like that? Or
no, my wife does, and I should. I think yoga may be like the next healthy thing I add to my list, but it's just a matter of time. Like, with doing all of these other things, then adding something else into the mix. It's like we only have so much time until we have to go to bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yoga is great. Do you do it?
I went out to India to go to an ashram in India, and I did some yoga lessons. Never felt pain like it in my life. I mean, I can't even touch my toes. So,
I can't either, yeah.
I used to dance a lot when I was, doing the pop stuff back in the 90s. So I was always quite flexible, but not flexible enough for yoga. So the guys pushing my legs apart and pulling and bands. Fun enough, I couldn't even sit up straight. That's how bad my posture has got over the years. So when I first came to Mexico and during COVID, I was like, right, I'm going to start every morning with like beginner's yoga. It was too much, man, for me, really. I would love to do it. I think it's one of the most beneficial regimes, routines that you can do to your. They were doing like even starting with every single muscle group and stuff in your face, like everything, like opening and incredible. Like I did feel amazing. Couldn't walk for 2 days afterwards, but it did feel good.
It's painful, it is. I'm a very tight person from all the weight training, and that would make it so if and when I do start doing yoga, it's going to hurt. For a long time. I think that's what makes me kind of shy away from it. But it is good, man.
I don't have that passion for pain.
No,
I mean, my partner works out a lot, and I remember like we're having a chat about, I have a gym here, amazing for drying clothes, bloody wonderful. And my partner was like, "Oh, I need to work out more." I'm like, "Yeah, we do. That's really cool. You're in your 20s." I said, "I get up in the morning, every morning, and all my joints hurt." I said, "So I'm going to go in that gym. I'm going to work out for 2 hours. So all my joints are going to hurt tomorrow and all my muscles. And when my muscles finally stop hurting, we got to up my reps or up my weights in order for my muscles to hurt. So between now and the day I die, I'm going to be in pain." There is no pain in eating a chocolate mousse with a cup of tea.
I get it. I know. The thing is though, you don't have to be in the gym for 2 hours.
No.
If you do it correctly and you are taught how to do it right, you literally don't need to be in there for more than 45 minutes.
Wow. Okay. That's
dude,
kind of gym in.
There's a lot of days that I can get out of there just over 30 minutes, and I'm fully pumped.
Wow. Okay, man.
It's just knowing how to work out, knowing what exercises your body responds to best. There's a lot of science with it, to be honest with you. To really do it right, and with the food component of it as well, there's a shit ton of science to it. That's why I see the same people at the gym almost every day for the last 2 years at this particular ridiculous gym that I go to, and nobody looks any different.
Wow.
They all look exactly the same. Reason being, they don't work out correctly. They go home and eat like shit. And the number one thing that I'm now for sure is the reason why people don't have the transformation they want. They don't know about fasting. I promise you, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm pro fast all the way.
It's insane. You could take a person who's 100 pounds overweight, they eat wrong, they don't work out, and they don't fast. Mm-hmm. You could keep them on their same shit diet. You could allow them to still not exercise, but if you simply just did the fasting, they would drop 50 of that 100 extra pounds.
I said, my friend about she didn't do any exercise, nothing. She just, and she was like, because she was obviously focusing on the whole fasting, she became more aware of what she was putting in her body. So she's like, "I really want a hamburger and fries now, but I could actually have it on Saturday and celebrate it when, the kids are home and stuff like that. So I don't need to. I can have a chicken salad and something, and then just save that hamburger for Saturday evening with the kids." And she just started to become aware of her body. She went to the gym, I think. Well, I'll have to send you her link afterwards, actually, because her transformation is incredible. She's now got a group called oh my God, My 1 Year Glow Up or something like that. And just about how she just started taking interest. She started fasting. She didn't want to get COVID because she couldn't breathe because she was so bloody fat, and how it all started with that. And, she emerged from COVID literally like a bloody butterfly. And that was just purely on fasting itself. And now she's got loads of followers that are just, because
that's what I think. If the people if they would be able to fast, that would morph into like your friend starting to be interested in doing the other things right as well, because it's human nature. When you see results, you then get inspired, and then you want to up the game more and more and more and more.
Absolutely. And if you feel good, At the moment,
Right.
well, not at the moment, but a month ago, the thought of doing anything, like you said, I live in intense heat as well. I'm already on t-shirt number 4 just after breakfast because it's crazy ass heat with humidity. The thought of doing a workout and sweating on top of the sweating I'm doing normally was like, I can't, but I don't have money for our aircon. It's not one of the luxuries I can have at the moment. So, I'm like, I just don't want to sweat. I don't want to do anything that's going to cause me.
Well, that's an extreme environment. I've been to Mexico in the summer and it is miserable. Mm-hmm. It's different than here. Here it's hotter than Mexico, but it'll be
dry, right?
Oh, it's like sometimes it's 5% humidity.
Wow. Okay.
Where in Mexico, what is it always like 80, 90?
80, 90, and 100, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's very different. I will take there is something to say about the dry heat. It's actually a real thing.
Yeah, more bearable, yeah.
But it doesn't make it enjoyable. But I know I get it, man. If I was sweating my ass off 24/7 and then I had to go to the gym and do it, that would make it pretty tough.
Especially if you're going, like, if your gym was working out in your garage without aircon.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you would have broken your habit by now.
Yeah, I very, very well could have, man. I get it. But hey, as long as you keep fasting, the benefits of that will be so huge
completely.
That, I'm not saying don't ever do the other things, but at least in the interim, it's so beneficial.
No, completely, man. Well, I think we should catch up again in a few months.
Let's do it, man.
Maybe even the 200th show or something. You're going to have to put like magnifying glasses so they can see us because we're going to be that svelte. It would be amazing to see the transformations of Emerson and Jaden as they approach their...
Well, see, that's what's boring for me. I look the same. I literally look identical since when I was 18. So I don't have any excitement. Like when you do all your things, you're like, oh yeah, look how great it's changing. It's boring for me because I look the same. So I'm don't get me wrong. I'm happy with how my body is, but nothing ever really changes because I've always been doing the right shit. So that's my point to that is there's not a lot of motivation. I just have to base it off of being healthy. It's not like, oh cool, I'm going for this next goal. I met my goal 30 years ago and I've just kept it. Yeah. So I don't have any I'm not looking towards this elusive goal or a goal that's achievable. It's actually more of a pain in the ass because I just have to keep doing the same thing just to maintain. I'm on a permanent maintenance program, basically.
Because if you don't, what the hell was that last 20 years about, 30 years?
Well, there is a lot of that, yeah. Like imagine, 30 years.
To be fat now, bloody hell, man.
But yeah, I think that is a big part of it. It's like, I've done this shit for 30 years. I'm not going to go and screw it all up now because I just decided to be a lazy asshole. No, thanks. No. And I want to be that guy. I want to be that weird guy that when I'm 65, I'm all cut and muscular. Like, how the hell is he able to do that? Like, that would be cool.
Well, this is your goal then, right? Keep it going on.
I'm just going to keep it going. Like, I'm literally, other than barring injury or, going mental, I don't think I'm ever going to stop. No.
Cut and glamorous at 60, mate. That's my goal.
Dude, look at Brad Pitt. That dude is 60 years old and he still looks killer.
Yeah. And Tom Cruise, there's got to be stuff going on there, man. That's not human.
Maybe with Cruise. I don't know. I think Brad is just a genetic freak.
Yeah, he's way too blessed.
He's Brad. Mm. Now I don't know if Brad is. I don't know what kind of shape he's in, but I mean, at least when you see him out in public and in clothes, you would never know that the guy's 60 years old. It's pretty stuff.
He was at the tennis, wasn't he, in England? Was it last week or something? Looking fine, man.
Yeah. He was at the Formula One race at Sober Stuff. He looked like 45-year-old Brad.
Yeah. Okay, that's my goal.
That's the goal, dude. Brad's the goal.
Okay. Emerson Newton-John, thank you so much for joining me on my 100th episode. You're a bloody legend, sir.
Thank you too, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon, and hopefully next time I will have a bottle in hand, and you'll have a bottle in hand.
Just let me know, and we're on for the next show. That'll be bloody wonderful.
We can air cheers.
Yes, absolutely. And I will send you. I'll do a bit of research into nice places in just outside London.
Yeah, man, that would be cool. I appreciate it.
All right, mate. Emerson John, thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Bloody love that man. He's such a super cool dude. Emerson, thank you so much for joining me. People at home, thank you so much. We got to 100. Here's to the next 100 shows as well, featuring some phenomenal people. It's a double celebration for me because not only am I celebrating my 100th show, but I'm also celebrating my new single. And I would really like to leave the show with a bit of music and a bit of cool and a bit of disco-y music. So let's leave with Jaden Cornelious singing Lost Without Your Love. I can't wait to show you my video if you haven't seen it already. Please don't forget to follow Emerson and myself on our social media platforms. Come and say hi to me anywhere you want, and also go and say it and show some love to Emerson as well. I will see you next week for the 101st edition of the Jaden Show. I wonder who our special guest is going to be. You'll have to join me to find out. See you next week. Stay safe, stay wonderful, and most of all, stay beautiful. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
I'm so lost without your love. Just one look from you and I was lost in love. Don't you know you stole my heart and left me flying high, and I can't stand the pain. Every second seems so long to tell you that I want you to love me, love me, love me like I need you to. I want you to love me, and I'm missing how you squeeze me, please me, tease me, love me. Now you go, the days and nights, they seem so long without you in my arms. I'm lost without your love. Nothing seems to matter when you're gone too long. When you're gone too long. Walking round and round and round, you left me high and dry. I just long to hear the words that take my breath away. Just tell me that I want you to love me, love me, love me like I need you to. I want you to love me, and I'm missing how you squeeze me, please me, tease me, love me. Now you're gone, the days and nights, they seem so long without you in my arms. I can feel your warmth, I can hear your voice like you're next to me. Beating on my chest, I can feel your breath whispering in my head. I want you to love me, love